Hello, Mrs. Sparks. My name is Melinda Gilbert. I'm the special education teacher, and this is Miss Brazelton. She is Harry's general education teacher. We're here today to discuss Harry's individual education program. The IEP will cover the approach which we will be taking in the coming year for Harry's academic needs. First, we will discuss Harry's strengths. According to observations completed by Ms. Brazelton, Harry's strengths are processing speed, working memory, perceptual reasoning, listening, reading comprehension. Also, he is able to blend sounds and master most basic sounds. He has shown that he learns well using manipulatives and working on hands-on tasks. Ms. Sparks and Ms. Brazelton, do you both agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Next, we will talk about your concerns for Harry, Mrs. Sparks.
Currently, Harry lives with his older brother and myself. His father and I recently separated, so he's unable to see his father as much as he would like to. His doctor actually prescribed some ADHD medicine to help him in school.
So you say that Harry lives with you and his older brother, and you and your husband are separated, and it concerns you that he doesn't get to see his father as often as he likes. Also, you want us to make note that he is on ADHD medication. Okay. Thank you. All that should be very helpful to his teachers. Y'all just give me just a moment to catch up. I will be right with you. Next, we will discuss the evaluations Harry was given after his referral. The school psychometrist would give Harry 4 evaluations. These evaluations will cover everything from his behavior to vocabulary comprehension, perceptual reasoning, working memory, reading composite comprehension, and letter identification, and more. Harry's full score on the Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children was 90. His verbal comprehension was 87, perceptual reasoning 87, working memory 86, processing speed 93. Some of these were mentioned before in his strengths on the profile page. On the Woodstock-Johnson, his evaluation score was 74 on letter identification and word identification, and calculation was 89, math reasoning 84, and broad math 84. His raw score on the behavior scale was 74. An observation was completed on March 10, 2013, shows he pays attention during small group instruction, and he is able to decode vocabulary words on flashcards. This information was used to determine his needs and placement in special education. Ms. Brazelton, would you please discuss the information on the other section that you provided for his IEP?
Harry is of average height and weight in relation for his grade placement. He qualified for special services and specific learning disability in the area of reading. He has been in a reading intervention class that is research-based, which he has benefited from. His teachers report that he does better when they receive assignments and provide positive reinforcements when doing classwork.
Thank you. Please give me a moment to add this information to our IEP. Okay, Mrs. Sparks, do you have any questions at this time or anything else to contribute?
I have no questions at this time.
At this time, would you follow along on the IEP as we cover a few of the questions? Does the student have limited English proficiency? No. Does the student need instruction in Braille? No. Does the student have communication needs? No. Does the student need assistive technology devices? No. Does the student require specially designed PE? No. Is the student working toward an alternate achievement standards? No. Are the transition services addressed in this IEP with an annual goal? No. Next on the IEP is the transportation and related services. Will the student be riding a regular bus or a special needs bus, or will the parent be bringing him to school? It's been decided that he will be riding a regular bus according to the parents. Does the student require any kind of transportation related services? No. Now it's time to discuss his extracurricular activities? Will the student have an opportunity to participate with his peers? Yes. And at what time will his progress reports go out? Every 9 weeks, just as the report cards do. Now we need to discuss the goal, where we plan on getting him by the end of the school year. By the end of the 2013-2014 school year, Harry will solve word problems involving dollars, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies using dollar signs and cent symbols appropriately. That is the Math Standard 2-MD8. Ms. Brazelton, how will we evaluate him on that?
I would think 8 out of 10 times correctly in the classroom for his assessments would be an appropriate goal for him.
Okay, we will put 8 out of 10 times correctly on his classroom assignments. We will do that on curriculum-based assessments, teacher text tests, work samples. Would that be good, Ms. Brazelton?
Yes.
We will be giving him 3 goals, 2 for reading and 1 for math. As stated on the profile page, Harry excels in listening and reading comprehension, but has difficulty in math solving problems. So his first goal, we're going to state that Harry excels in listening and reading comprehension, but he has difficulty in solving math word problems. His inability to solve math word problems negatively impacts his ability to. Okay, Ms. Brazelton, do you have a standard that we could put in there that would cover that?
Yes, Math Standard 8, which involves dollar bills, quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies. And this just includes solving word problems such as if you have 2 dimes and 3 pennies, how many cents do you have? So this is the type of stuff we would work with him on.
Great, Ms. Brazelton. Just give me a moment to catch up on the document. Thank you. Now that is his present level. Are you comfortable with that goal for Harry?
Yes, this seems fine to me.
Thank you. We'll move on to the reading goal. Okay, in reading, Harry is able to blend sounds and words and has mastered basic sounds and word recognition. Work samples and observations indicate he would benefit, though, from intensive phonemic awareness activities. Harry's lack of phonics skills prevents him from... Okay, is there a standard he needs to work for there, Ms. Brazelton?
Yes, reading Standard 2.3 states to know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis skills in decoding words. That would just be for him to be able to distinguish long and short vowels, understanding how to decode words correctly.
Okay, we will work on that one. That is RF 2.3. Okay. All right, it prevents him from demonstrating and applying grade level phonics and word analysis skills in decoding. Okay, now we'll go on and discuss his third goal, which is a reading goal. Harry's present level of performance is Harry has difficulty reading grade level text aloud with fluency and comprehension. His lack of comprehension skills prevents him from reading and comprehending literature including stories and poetry in the 2nd and 3rd grade text complexity. And that's goal RL210. Would that be okay with you, Mrs. Brazelton?
Yes.
Okay. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Standard RL210. So we'll make his measurable goal by the end of 2013-2014 school year. Harry will read and comprehend literature including stories, poetry, and grades 2nd and 3rd text complexity, band proficiency, and scaffolding as needed at the high end of the range, RL 210, 80% of the time on classroom assignments. Does everyone agree with that? Good. We'll also do this, we'll also evaluate him on his curriculum-based assessments, teacher and text tests, teacher observations, and work samples. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Yes.
Good. Okay, his measurable goal for next year is by the end of the 2013-2014 school year, Harry will know and apply grade level phonics and word analysis decoding words 80% of the time on his classroom tests and assignments. We will evaluate that on which documents, Ms. Brazelton?
80% of the time on classroom assignments using curriculum-based assessments, teacher text tests, and observations, which I feel like he will not have a problem with.
Okay, we'll put that on curriculum-based assessments, teacher text, test, teacher observation, and work samples. Ms. Sparks, do you have any questions about this goal?
I have one question. Will he be receiving help on his work, or will he be expected to make 80% on his own?
No, ma'am. That's just the minimum amount of help he's going to be receiving, okay? We will make sure that he gets the help he needs. We need to discuss the special education and related services Harry will be receiving. Under special education services, the special education teacher will work with Harry in the general education classroom with flashcards to improve his vocabulary and reading exercises to improve his fluency and comprehension. She will be doing this daily at 30 minutes a day, starting October 22nd and running till May 29th. And she will do this in the general education classroom. Will that be okay with you, Ms. Brazelton?
Yes.
The special education teacher will work with Harry in the general education classroom on comprehension, math terminology, and help him master math word problems. Again, this will happen daily, 20 minutes a day, starting 10/22/13. Is that still okay with you, Ms. Brazelton? We had discussed it earlier before the meeting.
Yes.
And he's going to be getting these services daily in the classroom, all day long, starting October 22nd, 2013, to May 29th, 2014, in the general education classroom. And this other service that he's going to be getting is basically just when he takes any standardized testing, and he can have his test read aloud to him, and he can also have that done daily in the classroom if needed. And it's going to start October 22nd, 2013 till May 29th, 2014. And he will be tested in the general education classroom. But that covers the related services that he's going to be getting. Do you have anything to add, Ms. Sparks?
Not at this time.
All right, at this time, if there's no more questions, we're going to go over the least restrictive environment section and signature page, if everyone agrees on the IEP. Has the IEP team considered the need for extended school services? Yes. That just means that Harry will be receiving services throughout the summer, and with the services we agreed that it was going to end at the end of the school year, May 29th. Does the student attend the school in which he would, if he, or preschool, to participate in the environment that he would attend if he was non-disabled? Yes, he does. Does the student receive all special education services with non-disabled peers? Yes, he does. And we will make sure that you get a copy of the IEP today, Ms. Sparks. And you get a copy of your special education rights, letting you know what you're entitled to. Okay, if we're all in agreement, would you please sign the signature page for us? At this time, if you don't mind, we're going to go over his behavior support plan. Since we're all meeting, that'll keep us from having to get together again. A behavior support plan will help guide his teachers on how to deal when he has a problem in the classroom, and his behavior that impedes his learning is his shyness. So it's going to help his teachers understand how to deal with Harry. Ms. Brazelton, how does his shyness impede his learning?
It impedes his learning because Harry's shyness hinders his ability to participate in classroom discussion. Therefore, he can't benefit from the lesson.
Okay, and we're going to do all of that, and to achieve that, we're going to achieve this outcome, both teaching of a new alternative method and reinforcement is needed. Yes. To achieve this outcome, reinforcement of alternative behavior alone is emphasized. No. To achieve this outcome, the environmental supports or changes are needed. Yes. Are curriculum accommodations necessary? No. Is there a curriculum accommodations plan? No. The BSP is to be coordinated with other agencies and service plans? Yes. The person whom contacting those agencies is Melinda Gilbert. Teaching strategies and necessary curriculum or materials for behavior instruction. Harry needs to be taught a signal to communicate to counteract his shyness during class discussion. Who will teach him this? All of his teachers. How frequently? Daily. Environmental structure and supports to be provided. Time, space, materials, and interactions. Harry will be expected to use his signal once per discussion each day for a week, and then twice per discussion during the second week, and so on until he participates on average as his peers do. Who establishes this? The resource teacher. And who will monitor it? All of his teachers. Ms. Brazelton, will be the one to be reinforcing the procedures. Will you please go over the procedures with us?
The estimated time needed for this is moderate. The frequency would be daily. We would do this every day. Current indicators, his shyness is apparent when he is speaking in front of people. So, we believe instead he should use a signal to indicate to his teacher his answer or agreement to a classmate answer. Harry needs to participate in smaller groups and use a signal until he is comfortable in large group environments. His behavioral goal, it is the team's plan that Harry's improvement in the classroom discussions will improve his grades across the board. Reinforcement procedures, if Harry participates in discussion as stated above, he will be able to choose a prize from the treasure box, which will be by his teachers. And they will do this weekly. Every time they see him doing what he's supposed to, they will allow him to get in the treasure box. The positive reinforcers are to be used as reminders to keep him in check and to ensure that his continued participation. For record keeping, Harry's teachers will keep a log documenting his progress in class, participations, and his grades to see if there is a direct correlation between the two and to monitor his progress towards his behavioral goal. And they will also do that every month.
Thank you, Ms. Brazelton. Mrs. Sparks, do you agree with the BSP plan or have any input?
That sounds good. Will you keep me posted on his progress this semester of school?
Yes, ma'am. I will keep you posted on his progress.
Thank you so much.
If there are no other questions, this concludes our meeting, and thank you all for coming.